Yo, what's good, you guys? Your boy Ben Mahari here, represent Mahari Nation Sports Podcast. Hope y'all been having a good evening thus far. Let's just get down to it, though, man. Boy, I tell you, Chris Paul has been taking a huge beating on the court, off the court, in the media. You got into the point now where you got a front running dude like Patrick Beverly talking mass greasy stuff about you, and I got some about Patrick Beverly in a few moments, in a few moments here, because actually, I'm going to say that for a separate video because I need some separate time to really dissect Patrick Beverly. But this is not about him. This is about particularly Chris Paul. I've been, pretty much walking around these YouTube basketball streets. You know what I mean? Just listening to some videos on my own on the channels that I subscribe to, hearing various opinions about, Chris Paul's legacy as a point guard. And I'm gonna tell you something right now. It's been pretty much I pretty much say 60-40, 70-30 in terms of somewhat of the 30% of the people that are still defending Chris Paul as a point guard. It's still trying to prove that he's still one of the top 10 best point guards in the NBA. But now 70% of the people are now starting to really question that and starting to think that he should not be top 10 right now. And this is based on the fact that Chris Paul, his legacy in the postseason has continuously been subpar. Not just subpar, it's just been absolutely pathetic. Like, there is no defense about what we saw on Sunday night against the Dallas Mavericks. Absolutely zero defense whatsoever, especially when you're up 2-0. But this has been another cycle about Chris Paul. Like I said about it in my video from the other night, you know what I mean? The man has not won a game 7 at any point in the playoffs. He's blown at least 5-2-0 leads in his career. And he's also been responsible, one of the biggest responsible people, for blowing that 3-1 lead in the 2015 playoffs when he was with the LA Clippers against the Houston Rockets. You understand what I'm saying? This has been a huge constant pattern with Chris Paul throughout his career. I don't know, it's been with bad luck, it's been with injury, it's been anything that has been in front of him, he's not been able to get it done. And for every team that he's played for, as you can see on the screen here, he's pretty much brought him, some winning success. But when you really want to count on him to get you far into the postseason, his standards have been just relatively been pathetic. And now lots of people have been particularly saying that now you may have to put him in there with the same class as like a John Stockton or let's say other great point guards that never won an NBA championship. You understand what I'm saying? You know, it's really much a shame. You may have to put him in the same classes of a Steve Nash and, as I said, as a Stockton. Great point guards, fantastic players who are obviously Hall of Famers, but never succeeded when it matters most in the postseason and never won that elusive NBA title. For Steve Nash, however, he had chance after chance to get in the getting that ring when he was in his prime in Phoenix, and basically got a lot of unlucky breaks, and sometimes didn't show up when it mattered most. John Stockton, all-time career leader in assists and steals, but when it came down to postseason time, he ended up losing either in the first round in the Western Conference Finals, and despite making 2 finals appearances, ran into the great Michael Jordan and the Bulls. I mean, it just is what it is. Sometimes you run into great teams that just pretty much have your number or just too great for them to stop. For Chris Paul, however, his talent and what when he's accomplished throughout his career, there should be no excuse to what he's to no excuse of how he's failed in the postseason. This is a guy of his talent should have had at least 2 or 3 NBA championships, and you can trace it back during his mid prime years when he was with the Clippers and when he was with the Rockets. All right. Like I said, 2015 was probably his best chance to win an NBA championship, and you squandered it in the second round against the Rockets. And in 2018 as well, how can we not forget? He tore his hamstring in the Western Conference Finals against the Golden State Warriors. All right. Not his fault. But once again, they were up 3-2 in the series and ended up losing that series too. Same thing with the OKC Thunder, up 2-0 against the Rockets, blew that lead. Last year in the finals with the Suns, up 2-0, blew that lead against the Bucks. This year, 2-0 against the Mavericks, and you blew that lead and you lost it in 7. And I'm gonna tell you something right now. Chris Paul has already made reports that he's not had no intentions on retiring this year. I'm fearful to say this, but it has to be said. I think that this year was his best chance out of any other time in his career to win that elusive NBA championship. But now I'm afraid to say it. You know what? I'm not afraid to say it. It's just facts. The Western Conference is just continuously going to get better now. You got other teams right now that are looking to try to make playoff runs in their expense. And now we're considering the future of DeAndre Ayton and other pieces around right now. We don't know what's going to look for the Phoenix Suns right now. I mean, it's just right now. This is what they are at this point. I mean, had the best record in the Western Conference that year. You were basically the consensus to come out of the Western Conference at a minimum, get to the NBA Finals. But the maximum goal was obviously win the championship, and you had the players to do it. And you got outcoached and outplayed by a Dallas Mavericks team that doesn't play that much defense at all. So I mean, hey, right now Chris Paul right now, to me, in my eyes, he's pretty much top 15, top 20 point guard of all time. But as of right now in top 10, that's going to be a major question. And don't get me wrong, I'm not here saying that Chris Paul is not a Hall of Famer, because obviously he is. He's one of the greatest floor generals in NBA history. But when people in the next generation look back in his career from start to finish and look at all the opportunities that he's had throughout his career of achieving an NBA championship, they're going to look at him and pretty much say, this guy, as great as he was, he never got it done. And he's going to end up in the same boat as like a Steve Nash, John Stockton, Karl Malone, Charles Barkley, all those great players in their heyday that never won an NBA championship. You know what I'm saying? It's just unfortunate, but that's just the way it is. You are basically judged of what you do in the postseason. It doesn't matter what you do in the regular season. Regular season is the regular season. Pretty much the regular season is just a prelude to what you're supposed to do in the postseason. The postseason is where you make your name, and that is where you make your reputation as a player. Because when people look at your legacy later on in life, they're going to look at you like, what did you done in the postseason? Did you get it done? And there are some players that pretty much did well in the postseason, but never could close the deal on winning a championship. That happens. Guys like Reggie Miller always had great performances in the postseason, but unfortunately never could achieve in winning an NBA championship because of their respective eras. For Chris Paul, however, opportunity after opportunity to win a championship, he pretty much has squandered it. You know what I mean? And right now, you pretty much have to look at him like, is his chance at a championship finally close the door on him this season? We don't know. We don't know what the Phoenix Suns are going to look next season too. So right now, there's a lot of unanswered questions that are going to have to be addressed during the offseason. And so we'll see what happens. But right now, Chris Paul, his reputation as a basketball player, his legacy per se, is a lot of doubt right now. But I'm going to let you guys decide in the comment section below. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think that Chris Paul right now at this stage should either retire? Do you see him as still a top 10 point guard? Or do you see him less than an all-star type of point guard at this stage right now? But I really want you to be concise and be really, constructive in terms of your assessment about Chris Paul, because because we really need to answer the question about this. What do you see him as a point guard? What do you see him as a basketball player? But let me know what you think in the comment section below. And with that, I'm out. Peace.